Before the calendar flips to 2026, take a moment to look in the mirror. Not the one that shows your face, but the one that reflects your habits, your discipline, your mindset. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. You can't take the same thinking, the same excuses, the same routines into a new year and expect a different life. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens by decision. Life will not reward you for what you want. It rewards you for what you're becoming. So ask yourself, am I becoming the person capable of living the life I dream of? If the answer is no, then this is your wake-up call. Don't wait for another January, another Monday, or another someday. The clock is moving whether you are or not. Before 2026 arrives, you must decide to upgrade yourself, your mindset, your habits, your relationships, your discipline, your purpose. Because 2026 won't change your life, you will. If you walk into that new year carrying the same old patterns, you'll leave with the same old results. So today we begin. Let's talk about the 10 things you must change before 2026 finds you unprepared. Everything that will ever change in your life begins with one simple thing, your thinking. Your thoughts are the foundation of every decision you make, every action you take, and every result you create. You cannot rise above the level of your own thinking. You cannot attract abundance while believing you are not worthy of it. You cannot create success while secretly expecting failure. The first transformation must happen in your mind because your life is nothing more than a reflection of your dominant thoughts. If you walk into 2026 with the same beliefs that held you back in 2025, nothing will be different. You can change your job, your clothes, your goals, even your location, but if you do not change your thinking, your results will eventually return to where they've always been. True change begins the moment you challenge the small ideas that have kept you comfortable. The moment you begin to question your own limitations is the moment you start growing beyond them. Most people never do this. They repeat old thoughts like a broken record and wonder why their life plays the same tune. Your thoughts shape your attitude, and your attitude shapes your world. If you wake up telling yourself life is difficult, you will see obstacles everywhere. If you wake up believing that life is full of opportunity, you will see doors open where others see walls. It is not the world that changes, but your perception of it. The difference between a successful person and an unsuccessful one often comes down to one thing: perspective. A successful person sees a problem and says, "There's a lesson here." An unsuccessful person sees the same problem and says, "Why does this always happen to me?" The event is the same, but the thinking is different, and that difference determines the outcome. To change your thinking, you must become intentional about what you feed your mind. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant will grow. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, that is exactly what will flourish. But if you plant seeds of faith, confidence, and discipline, your life will begin to bloom. You cannot expect to think like a victim and live like a victor. You must take control of what enters your mind. Read books that challenge your comfort zone, listen to voices that inspire you to act, and spend time with people who believe in growth. The more you expose your mind to higher thoughts, the more natural success thinking becomes. Changing your thinking also requires silence and reflection. Take time each day to pause, to examine your thoughts, to ask yourself whether the ideas you carry are helping or hurting you. The problem is not that people have bad luck. The problem is that people have bad thinking. A negative thought repeated long enough becomes a belief, and a belief repeated long enough becomes your reality. So stop saying, "I can't," and start saying, "I'm learning how." Stop saying, "It's impossible," and start saying, "It's not easy, but it's worth it." The words you speak become the script you live by. You are capable of far more than you believe. The world does not limit you. Your thinking does. Every great change begins with the decision to think differently. Decide today that before 2026 arrives, you will no longer think small. You will no longer see yourself as a product of your past, but as the architect of your future. Expand your mind through learning, surround yourself with positive influences, and believe in your capacity to grow. When your thinking changes, your choices change, your habits change, your results change, and your entire life transforms. That is the power of changing your mind before you change your world. Your habits are the invisible architecture of your destiny. Every day, you are either building your future or breaking it down, not through big decisions, but through small, repeated actions. Success is never something that suddenly appears. It is the accumulation of small disciplines practiced over time. The person you will be in 2026 is being created right now through the habits you repeat without even thinking. You do not decide your future. You decide your habits, and your habits decide your future. Take a moment to look at your daily routine. How do you start your morning? What do you do with your evenings? How often do you invest time in learning, in growing, in improving yourself? These questions might seem simple, but they determine everything. The way you use your 24 hours reveals your priorities. If your days are filled with distractions, comfort, and inconsistency, you cannot expect your life to move toward excellence. But if your days are built around discipline, learning, and action, success becomes inevitable. The difference between average people and extraordinary ones lies in what they choose to do when no one is watching. It is not talent that separates them, but consistency. Successful people repeat the same positive behaviors long enough for them to become natural. They don't chase motivation, they build systems. They don't wait for the perfect time, they act now. They understand that excellence is a habit, not an event. You cannot build a new life with the same routine that built your old one. To upgrade your habits, start by identifying the small things that steal your potential. It could be the endless scrolling on your phone, the late nights that drain your mornings, or the constant procrastination disguised as waiting for inspiration. These habits feel harmless in the moment, but over time, they quietly rob you of progress. Replace them with habits that feed your purpose. Wake up early and plan your day. Exercise to strengthen your energy. Read to expand your mind. Review your goals each night to stay focused. These small, consistent actions compound into massive change. Discipline is what turns an idea into a reality. Every time you choose structure over comfort, you reinforce your commitment to growth. The early mornings, the quiet hours of study, the moments when you push yourself beyond convenience, those are the moments that define who you become. Most people quit not because success is hard, but because consistency is boring. They chase excitement instead of effectiveness. Real growth happens in routine, in repetition, in the daily grind. Success doesn't need to be dramatic, it needs to be consistent. Your habits also reveal your character. They show whether you can keep promises to yourself. When you say you will wake up early and don't, you teach your mind that your word doesn't matter. But when you follow through, even in small things, you build self-respect. Confidence doesn't come from speaking positively. It comes from proving to yourself that you can trust your own actions. Every habit you master strengthens your belief in yourself. As 2026 approaches, look at your habits like a mirror. Ask yourself if they are taking you closer to your dreams or further away. Great change doesn't require a miracle. It requires a new routine. Replace what weakens you with what strengthens you. Choose structure over chaos, effort over ease, growth over comfort. You don't need to transform everything overnight. Just one good habit, practiced daily, can reshape your future. Let the next year find you not wishing for a better life, but living it through the quiet power of disciplined habits. Discipline is the silent force that shapes every success story. It is the power that allows you to do what must be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Without discipline, dreams remain only dreams. Everyone wants progress, but few are willing to embrace the consistency and sacrifice that true growth demands. You can have goals, ambition, and motivation, but without discipline, they will collapse under the weight of procrastination. Discipline is the difference between wishing for change and working for it. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, or uncertain. On those days, motivation disappears, and only discipline will carry you through. The people who achieve great things are not always the most talented, but they are the most consistent. They show up whether they feel ready or not. They understand that emotions are temporary, but habits are permanent. When you learn to act without waiting for the perfect feeling, you begin to separate yourself from the crowd. Success is not about feeling good every day. It is about doing good work every day, regardless of how you feel. Discipline begins with a decision. You must decide what kind of person you want to be and commit to acting like that person even when it's difficult. If you want to be strong, act strong. If you want to be productive, act productive. Each disciplined action builds a new identity. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you grow stronger. Every time you choose effort over comfort, you reinforce your belief that you can trust yourself. Discipline is not punishment. It is self-respect in motion. It is the highest form of self-love because it puts your long-term good above your short-term comfort. Many people talk about success as if it is a mystery, but it is not. It is the result of 1,000 small disciplined actions done consistently. You will not always see immediate results, but every act of discipline moves you closer to mastery. The person who wakes up early to read or exercise may not notice change after 1 week, but after 1 year, their life looks completely different. That is the power of steady effort. Discipline compounds. The results may arrive slowly, but they always arrive. There will always be distractions. The world is full of easy choices that bring temporary pleasure but permanent regret. Discipline demands that you say no to those temptations so you can say yes to your purpose. It means turning off the noise, ignoring the excuses, and focusing on what truly matters. Every time you resist the urge to quit, you build resilience. Every time you stay consistent when others give up, you separate yourself from average. Greatness is not achieved in a single moment of inspiration, but through daily repetition of small, disciplined acts. To strengthen your discipline, build structure into your life. Set clear goals, create routines, and hold yourself accountable. Treat your commitments as sacred appointments with your future. If you say you will do something, do it. The more structure you build, the less power distractions have over you. Discipline thrives in clarity. When you know exactly what matters, you stop wasting energy on what doesn't. As 2026 approaches, make a promise to yourself that this will be the year you master discipline. Do not wait for conditions to be perfect. Start where you are with what you have and build consistency from there. Each act of self-control shapes your destiny. Discipline will test you, stretch you, and sometimes exhaust you, but it will also reward you with strength, confidence, and freedom. When you master discipline, you no longer chase success. You attract it through the power of your daily actions. Your environment has the power to shape your destiny more than you realize. The people you spend time with, the places you go, and the energy you allow around you silently influence your mindset, your choices, and your potential. You cannot expect to live a powerful life while surrounded by weak influences. You cannot stay motivated if your environment constantly pulls you toward comfort and negativity. Growth demands space, clarity, and protection. If you want to become better, you must first guard what enters your mind and heart through the company you keep. Every person in your life is either an elevator or an anchor. They either lift you toward your goals or pull you down to their level. Many people never reach their potential because they stay in environments that keep them average. They spend their time trying to fit in rather than rise up. But the truth is, you cannot become your best self while staying loyal to spaces that no longer match your growth. Sometimes progress means creating distance from what drains you. It does not mean you hate people. It means you love yourself enough to protect your peace. Your environment goes beyond people. It includes the atmosphere you create each day. Look around your workspace, your home, your phone screen. Are these things inspiring you or distracting you? Chaos on the outside often reflects chaos on the inside. When your surroundings are cluttered, your mind becomes restless. When your space is organized and intentional, your focus sharpens. A clean, calm environment feeds discipline and clarity. Design your surroundings to remind you of your vision, not your limitations. Put quotes where you can see them. Keep books within reach. Remove distractions that lead you off track. Small adjustments in your environment can produce powerful shifts in your mindset. Energy is contagious. If you are always around people who complain, doubt, or gossip, you will eventually start thinking the same way. Negativity spreads faster than positivity when left unchecked. To rise above it, you must be intentional about the energy you allow into your circle. Spend time with people who challenge you to improve, who celebrate your wins, and who remind you of your potential. The right company will not only inspire you, but also hold you accountable. They will speak truth when you are slipping, push you when you hesitate, and encourage you when you are tired. A single conversation with the right person can change your entire direction. Guarding your environment also means guarding your attention. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. Social media, news, entertainment, endless noise. If you do not control your focus, the world will control it for you. Protect your mental space like you protect your home. Set boundaries with technology. Choose what information you consume and be mindful of how it makes you feel. Your attention is your greatest resource. Spend it wisely. Sometimes growth requires solitude. When you are becoming a new version of yourself, not everyone will understand. Some will question your choices or mock your discipline because your progress reminds them of their stagnation. Do not let that discourage you. Distance yourself with grace and focus on your vision. The people who truly belong in your life will grow alongside you or cheer for you from afar. As you move toward 2026, take inventory of your environment. Ask yourself who and what is influencing you most. If it strengthens you, keep it. If it weakens you, let it go. You cannot plant the seeds of success in toxic soil and expect them to flourish. Protect your energy. Choose your circle with wisdom and build an environment that reflects your goals. When your surroundings align with your purpose, growth becomes natural and unstoppable. Taking responsibility for your life is the most powerful decision you will ever make. It marks the exact moment you stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming the creator of your future. Many people spend years blaming others for where they are, their parents, their boss, their past, or the system. But as long as you live in blame, you live in bondage. Freedom begins when you accept that your life is a reflection of your choices, not your conditions. You may not control everything that happens to you, but you always control how you respond. That response determines the direction of your life. The truth is uncomfortable but liberating. Every habit, every decision, every result in your life is the product of choices you've made, whether consciously or not. The moment you own that truth, you regain power. You can no longer say, "It's not my fault," because you realize even if something wasn't your fault, it's still your responsibility to deal with it. That's what separates the successful from the defeated. The successful don't waste energy blaming. They use that energy to adapt, to learn, and to grow. Life is not fair to anyone equally, but it is fair in one way. It gives everyone the chance to respond with responsibility. When you take responsibility, you stop waiting for someone to save you. You stop expecting life to change on its own. You realize no one is coming to rescue you. You are the rescuer. This understanding transforms frustration into focus. Instead of saying, "Why me?" you start asking, "What can I do about it?" That question changes everything because it moves you from helplessness to empowerment. Responsibility is not about guilt. It is about ownership. It means saying, if it is to be, it's up to me. The moment you blame something outside of yourself, you give away control. You hand your power to circumstances and people who may never care about your progress. Taking responsibility pulls that power back into your hands. It means you stop reacting and start creating. You begin to understand that your attitude determines your altitude. The same storm that sinks one person can lift another depending on their response. Life will always test you, but how you handle those tests decides what lessons you carry forward. People who refuse responsibility often repeat the same mistakes because they never examine their role in the outcome. They keep blaming others and never grow. Growth begins when you ask yourself, what part did I play in this? That question is uncomfortable, but it is the birthplace of wisdom. When you admit your contribution to failure, you also uncover the power to change it. Responsibility leads to self-awareness, and self-awareness leads to transformation. There is immense peace in taking ownership of your life. You no longer have to wait for the world to be right before you start living right. You begin to act with purpose because you realize your choices matter. Each decision becomes a brick in the foundation of your future. When things go well, you celebrate your discipline. When things go wrong, you adjust your strategy instead of blaming fate. You live with clarity knowing that progress is always within your control. As you approach 2026, commit to living with full responsibility. Stop giving excuses room to breathe. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect people. Everything you need to start changing your life is already within you. Responsibility is not a burden. It is the ultimate freedom because it gives you power over your destiny. Once you take responsibility for your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions, life begins to align in your favor. The moment you say, "This is my life, and I will shape it," is the moment your real transformation begins. Personal growth is the foundation of every lasting success. Nothing changes in your life until you change yourself. You cannot expect your income, your relationships, or your opportunities to grow if you remain the same person. Growth is not something that happens by accident. It is a conscious choice to keep evolving, learning, and expanding your capacity. The moment you stop growing, you start declining. Life rewards those who continuously seek to become more than they were yesterday. Personal growth begins with awareness. You must be willing to look at yourself honestly. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your habits, and your mindset. Many people avoid this because it forces them to confront uncomfortable truths. But self-honesty is the first step toward transformation. When you see where you need improvement, you gain the power to change it. The problem is not ignorance, it is the refusal to learn. The moment you say, "I know enough," you close the door to progress. The wisest people in the world are not those who know everything, but those who remain humble enough to keep learning. Growth requires consistent effort. Reading a single book won't change your life, but a commitment to daily learning will. Every time you pick up a new skill, listen to a powerful idea, or challenge your own beliefs, you stretch your capacity to achieve more. You begin to see opportunities that others miss because your mind has expanded. What once seemed impossible now becomes reachable because your awareness has grown. Knowledge opens doors that stay closed to those who never invest in themselves. Investing in personal growth also means valuing your time. Time spent scrolling aimlessly or engaging in meaningless distractions steals your potential. Replace those hours with something that feeds your mind and spirit. Listen to inspiring talks, read great books, or learn a new skill that makes you more valuable. Success is not built on what you know today, but on what you continue to learn tomorrow. The more you grow, the more opportunities begin to find you, because growth changes not only your knowledge, but your energy, your confidence, and your presence. Growth is not always comfortable. It demands that you step outside what feels familiar. You may need to leave behind old habits, old environments, or even old versions of yourself. Growth often feels like loss at first, but it is really expansion. The discomfort you feel while growing is the evidence that you are becoming stronger. A seed must break before it becomes a tree. The same is true for you. Each struggle, each challenge, and each lesson is shaping you into a more capable version of yourself. Personal development also means learning emotional strength. The world will test you with setbacks, criticism, and disappointment. Without growth, these moments will break you. With growth, they will build you. When you grow, you learn to turn obstacles into teachers and pain into purpose. You stop running from difficulty and start using it to refine your character. Every great person became great because they grew through what others avoided. Before 2026 arrives, make growth your daily discipline. Don't wait for life to force you to change. Choose to change before you must. Set aside time each day to learn, to reflect, to improve. Seek mentors who challenge your thinking. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to rise. Make curiosity your daily companion and humility your greatest strength. The goal is not to become better than others, but to become better than you were yesterday. When you commit to personal growth, your world expands in ways you never imagined. Opportunities multiply, confidence deepens, and success becomes a natural result of who you have become. Growth is the journey that transforms potential into purpose and dreams into reality. Living with purpose is what gives your life direction, meaning, and power. Without a sense of purpose, it is easy to drift from day to day, busy but not fulfilled, moving but not progressing. Many people work hard, yet feel empty inside because they have never taken the time to ask themselves why they do what they do. Purpose is not found in motion, it is found in meaning. It is the quiet understanding that your life matters and that your actions are part of something greater than comfort or convenience. When you live with purpose, you stop chasing everything and start focusing on what truly matters. Purpose gives clarity to your choices. It helps you say yes to what aligns with your values and no to what wastes your energy. Without it, you end up doing too much of what doesn't matter and too little of what does. Purpose acts like a compass, guiding you through confusion and distraction. It reminds you of your priorities when life gets noisy. People who know their purpose are not necessarily busier, but they are more intentional. They move with focus, not frenzy. They measure success not by how much they have, but by how deeply they live. Finding your purpose begins with self-reflection. Ask yourself what truly fulfills you. What activities make you feel alive? What problems do you feel called to solve? Purpose often hides in the intersection between your talents and the needs of others. It is not always something grand or dramatic. Sometimes it is as simple as using your gifts to make a difference in your corner of the world. Purpose is not discovered in a single moment. It unfolds as you grow, as you listen, and as you act with sincerity. When you live with purpose, discipline becomes easier. You no longer need constant motivation because you are pulled forward by meaning. Purpose turns work into service and struggle into growth. It helps you endure the hard seasons because you know why you are doing it. Without purpose, obstacles feel like punishment. With purpose, they feel like preparation. Every challenge becomes part of your development. Every delay becomes an opportunity for patience. And every failure becomes a lesson that shapes your mission. Purpose also strengthens your confidence. When you know what you are meant to do, you stop comparing yourself to others. You understand that your journey is unique, that you are not in competition with anyone else. You no longer need validation because your direction gives you identity. This kind of inner conviction cannot be shaken by opinion or rejection. Purpose roots you deeply in who you are and what you are becoming. It gives you peace even in uncertainty because you trust that your path has meaning. Living with purpose also means contributing beyond yourself. True fulfillment comes not from accumulation, but from contribution. When you use your time, energy, and talents to help others, you expand your impact and deepen your joy. Success without significance always feels incomplete. Purpose connects your success to service. It reminds you that every gift you have is meant to be shared, that your growth is not just for you, but for those whose lives you can touch. Before 2026 arrives, take time to define or refine your purpose. Do not rush it. Listen to your heart, your values, and your vision. Create a life that reflects your inner calling, not just outer expectations. Every day, ask yourself whether your actions align with your purpose. If they don't, adjust your direction. The most powerful life is not lived by chance, but by choice. When you live with purpose, every morning has meaning, every action has weight, and every goal carries soul. Purpose gives your life focus, strength, and fulfillment, turning ordinary moments into a meaningful journey toward your highest potential.